Tapper, tapper, tapper.
Oh my god, I told you not to.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Alrighty, so hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Okay, so tonight we've got a build in a new case. So I haven't featured this one before. And so this is the Azza HIVE. So on the front here, it's got this really distinct honeycomb pattern front panel. It's like a mesh.
Yeah, and it's like a silver color too.
Yeah, yeah. So
that's cool.
Good little budget case here. We're gonna have a look at it and go through the features, what it has, what it doesn't have, etc. So we'll have a good look at that when we get to it. So tonight we're building another Christmas PC for another young fella. So very similar to last night's build actually. A couple of differences, but fundamentally the main difference is we've got the 5600 versus the 5500. We have the same graphics card. We have a better motherboard. It's got integrated Wi-Fi. We've got a bit more RAM. We got 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I think we got the same. Yeah, 550 watt power supply, pretty much the same as the other one. I think this one's a slightly cheaper one, but it's still 80 plus bronze efficiency and 5-year warranty. But yeah, let's get stuck into it. So as I said, we got the Ryzen 5 5600, 6-core 12-thread CPU. We've got 32 gigabytes of silicon power memory there, 3200 megahertz CL16. It's got the RGB on it. We've got a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, so it's the silicon power. It's the P34A60. So I'm sure you're going to remember that one there. But it comes with a 5-year warranty. It's Gen 3. This CPU only works with Gen 3. So if you buy a Gen 4 drive with this CPU, it's just going to run at Gen 3 speeds anyway. So don't worry about your Gen 4 SSD. Put that money into your graphics card. This graphics card is the Radeon RX 6600. It's the Asus Dual. We have the Gigabyte B550M DS3HAC motherboard, and this is the revision 1.5. We have a 550 watt Thermaltake BX1 power supply there. I do like to remove this plastic before I go live. Sometimes I forget. This makes it a little bit easier to work with. And then yeah, we've got the Azza HIVE case, so we'll be checking that one out. All right.
I've already put the battery in it. It just opened
the thing. Okay. So we'll prep up this motherboard and yeah, we'll have a look at the board a bit closer. Okay, so there we are. Yeah. Hey Ray, how you going? Good to have you with us. Hey Mr. Walshy, good to have you with us as always, mate. How's everything in your neck of the woods? Hope it's all going well. Okay, so this is the Gigabyte B550M DS3H motherboard. Let me There we go. Look at that. Now it's kind of focusing. So there's our board. So what does revision 1.5 mean? How does it vary between this board and some of the earlier ones? So the main thing on this board that's not on the other ones from a consumer perspective is the RGB. So we would normally see the RGB headers either here or there. There's also usually another one up here somewhere on the board. So these RGB headers are not featured on revision 1.5. So just be aware of that. Yeah, I saw. I had a look. I had a look at the. I had a look at the forecast and the satellite image and the MSPL maps, like the high and low and the trough lines and stuff like that, and it looked like a big bout of wind and rain was coming your way down in Tassie, and Melbourne were going to get like the edge of it. But yeah, like I said, I just sort of look at the weather kind of casually. See that system that's about to crash into Tassie? Yeah, Christine's just pulled up the national radar right now. Yeah, that's due. I think it's tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon or something. And see, they get like crazy weather. Like we don't really get this sort of thing. It can be like fine and a nice day in the morning, then all of a sudden the cold front moves in, and then it's like 20 degrees colder by like 5 o'clock that day. Like we don't get weather like that. We get the other end of the spectrum where it's really hot, but usually if it's hot, it doesn't cool down that dramatically that quickly. That's the thing about it. Oh well, enjoy your summertime snow if it happens. No, this probably won't be enough snow to go snowboarding, just enough to piss everybody off. That would be about it. Alrighty, so we got our DDR4 memory here. And make sure those clips are in place. They should clip in place, but sometimes they just they're sort of just out of reach of clipping. So just make sure that you push them in place if they're a little bit short. So it's no issue. The sticks are seated correctly there. But yeah, just be aware of that. That's one of those sort of slight imperfections that you'll find with anything that's manufactured. So if you build a couple of PCs before, you may have noticed that with certain boards. We looked at this same board just the other night and didn't have the same issue there with the RAM. Just to give you an idea, it's just slight variances in the size of the clip that'll do it. Anyway, we've got our M2 installed, we've got our RAM installed, so let's get our CPU installed. So we're not actually using the bracket that comes with the board there. Oh. And so yes, the motherboard box makes an excellent sort of working bench because you're not going to hurt anything there with the cardboard. Alright. so there's our Ryzen 5600. And so, like I said, with our AM4 CPUs, what we're looking for is a little golden triangle. You'll see it in one corner, and it's not in any of the other corners. And there's a little tiny triangle right there. And so you just want to line them up. And your CPU will drop right in. Now just go around, make sure that the four corners there are flush. And put down the bar. And you've got your CPU seated. Done. The scary part is over.
That's the USB I'm going to see.
I saw that. Okay, so here's our AMD stock cooler. It's a pre-applied thermal compound. If you can see that, it's very, very bright. Alright, so I stick a bit of the cable length up behind that AMD bit. Oh. So pick two opposite corners and just start to thread the bolts, then do the opposite two corners and just sort of start them off. And then you can fasten them down all the way. And so these screws will have like a hard stop, you'll feel it. Oh. It's really hard to mess up this stock cooler. They've designed it in such a way that you'll definitely put an even amount of pressure onto it. Okay, so as for the rest of this cable, we're going to route it around the legs here. Alrighty. And then, as you can see there, we've routed the cable around there, and we've sort of made use of the length. And then, once it's actually in our case, we're not going to see any of the cable there. It's really annoying that this lens isn't like auto-focusing for us, eh?
Focuses on what it wants.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, you get the idea. That's how you route it so it doesn't sort of stick out too much. I don't know, maybe it's my screen that looks a little bit blurry. It's fine to you? Okay.
I think you just tripping.
Just tripping? Yeah, okay, no worries. Okay, so what else have we got to unbox here before we get started with our graphics card? So this is the Asus Dual RX 6600. Oh, smacked my elbow then. There we go. Okay, and there's our graphics card. So Asus have these wrapped up. Oh no, that broke.
What the hell? I've never seen one of them break.
No, neither have I. I always ripped them off. Okay, so they even put a bit of plastic over the back there. Oh, I'll show you. So this bit here, this is really, really important. No matter what your mum says, you have to take this off. You can potentially leave all the other plastic on if you want, but you have to remove this bit here. So graphics cards have a nice metal plate on the back, and it's designed to be sort of passively cooled by the movement of air around it. So you don't want to have that wrapped up in plastic. Now, they also include a lot of plastic just around the plastic, you know, so we're protecting the plastic with
like plastic, so I put plastic on the
put plastic on the plastic, yeah. Someone got triggered by a few customers wanting a replacement because of scratches, and then they're like, nah, we're doing it like this from now on, I'm not dealing with any more of these pricks. They didn't say that. They said whatever the equivalent is in like Japanese. I think Asus is a Japanese company. I'm gonna upset people. Is it a Korean company? I don't know. So this particular card requires the 8 pins. Taiwan. Oh no. At least I didn't say. At least I didn't say it was Chinese, right? You know, that relationship's... Well, I mean, maybe I could say it's Chinese because Taiwan is technically... They sort of see themselves... Like China, like the People's Republic of China, the big China that's where Xi Jinping is in charge of, right? That they disagree with Taiwan as to who's China. Taiwan sort of maintains that they're China, and the communists are kind of like the ones that have taken over. And then the communists think that Taiwan is like a rogue state. So they completely like disagree with each other. Anyway, that is the Asus Dual RX 6600 there. So a good little budget graphics card. You can pick one up in Australia for under $300 dues. So that's pretty good. Now our power supply here, so this is the Thermaltake BX1 550 watt. Comes with obviously your power cable. It comes wrapped up in bubble wrap for safety. It has a little bit of sticky there over the branding. Got to protect that branding, because if you can't see that it's Thermaltake, well, you know, what's the point of even having the power supply? No, I just pay out. I just like paying out on companies that put lots of plastic on there, bits of plastic. Anyway, so what do we get? What do we get with this power supply? Obviously, we get our 24-pin power. We get we can untangle it a bit. It gets a 8-pin CPU power cable. And we get a 2 6 plus 8-pin PCIe cable. And we get a SATA cable here with 3 the SATA powers. And we get a second one, so total 6 SATA powers. And then we also get our Molex cable with 4 Molex plus our floppy adapter. Yeah, we always use our floppy disks, very, very important thing in 2023. No, but it's good to have in a pinch, right? They've probably got excess freaking things, and they just need to like use them up. So they just chuck them on power supplies still. Someone stuffed up, and instead of ordering, you know, 1 million of something, they ordered 1 billion. So we're going to be stuck with the floppy adapters for a while. I'm kidding, by the way. That's not true. I'm just being stupid. I've got no idea why they still include a floppy from the power supply. That's just what they do. Okay, so I tied up all those SATA and Molex cables because we don't really use them too much. Okay, well, we might get back to the normal view, and we'll have a look at the case next. So I've unboxed our power supply. We've unboxed and prepped up our motherboard. So now, let's have a look at this case. So it's a full-size ATX case. It comes with 3 pre-installed fans. Now, I don't know the complete status of those fans in terms of what the connectors are, but yeah, just as I thought. I don't have it. I'm not like having a hallucination here, am I? Oh no. I just wanted to double check. So you can actually fit 2 fans on the bottom here, and we've got room. It looks like we have room for a top-mounted radiator, but in fact we don't have room for a top-mounted radiator. So the height up here, we need a bit of gap between where the top of the motherboard sits in order to actually mount a radiator up here. We can put 3 fans up here though, and we can mount the radiator to the front. So your options aren't over, but you can mount 2 fans down here plus 3 up top. So that's a total of 5 extra fans. There's 4 pre-installed. So that means you can mount a total of 9 fans in this case. So pretty good if you want to, if you want your PC sort of dripping with RGB and you like as many fans as you can get. Definitely not a bad option there. So yeah, in terms of radiator compatibility, you've got 360 front, 120 at the back, and realistically I wouldn't mount anything to the top there, so you might just be able to get a 240 in on some angles of it, but honestly, like I said, I wouldn't bother with that. It's going to be really, really, really tight for that. Okay, let's have a look around the back and see what we're working with here. So we've got room to mount 2 2.5-inch SSDs, and we've got a drawer here for 1 hard drive. However, if you take out, I'll do it for you, if you take out this bottom bit, so this, even though it's only got the 1 drawer, this is actually compatible with mounting 2 hard drives. So at the top here, if you take this drawer out, at the top here we've actually got room. I've got a hard drive just sitting here. We've actually got room to mount a hard drive up the top. And so, yeah, you can just screw it in like that. Yep, and that just goes back in like that. So you'll have the 1 hard drive mounted to the top there, and then you can mount your second hard drive to the drawer here. So it's got room for so it'll have room for a total of 6 screws in the drawer there. And that'll just get tucked away just like that. Okay, so what else have we got? So we've got addressable RGB on the fans. However, we're not going to be using that. We're going to use the LED button on the case because we don't have an addressable header on the motherboard. In terms of the rest of the front I/O, we have USB 3, USB 2 front panel, and we have a full suite of front panel switches. So HD LED, power LED, reset and power switch, plus we have a separate LED cable there for our controller. So all in all, it's a pretty good case. I like the fact that it has addressable RGB. However, the downside with that is that these fans don't have like an addressable speed. They're just going to run at the same speed the whole time. So that could be a problem for some people. However, because this case is relatively cheap, you can always just remove these fans, sell them online with the controller, someone will buy them and replace them with proper addressable fans that have the addressable fan and addressable RGB. But in our case here, it's pretty good that it's like this because we've only got a total of 1, 2, 3 fan headers on this motherboard, and one of them's used by the CPU fan. Okay, what else have I got to mention about this board? Nothing really. It's a full-size ATX case. Rear I/O good. Total of 2 3.5-inch drives, 2 2.5-inch drives. Total of 9 fans. Yep, I think that's it. So the Azza HIVE, is it a good case? I would probably rate this 7.5 out of 10. Probably like 9 out of 10 for price. Maybe 6 out of 10 for because of the fans not being addressable. The RGB is addressable, but the fan speed isn't addressable. But all in all, for features, I would say a solid 7. But let's call it a 7.5 overall. So the things that I don't like is the fans don't have like addressability for the fan speed, and you can't mount a 360mm radiator up top, just the 3 fans. So they're the 2 points that I don't like. I do like the hard drive trays. I like that. I like the fact that you can put a couple of extra fans down the bottom. I like that it's a full-size ATX case, and I like that at least as a minimum you've got those fans in there, and you don't necessarily need a heap of fan headers to power them. So yeah, let's get stuck right into it. Put the card down there gently, and we can go ahead and get our power supply installed. So pretty simple. We use hex bolts for this. So hex bolts have a bit of like threading, I guess you'd say, on the bottom of them, so they tighten really well. Once you tighten them, they don't like to move around. They will scratch the paint because of those grooves.
I want to hear something really cool.
What?
They've come up with a thing to insert into his spinal cord to help people with Parkinson's walk again.
Oh, cool.
This dude, he had Parkinson's. He couldn't walk anymore. Check it out.
Cool, cool. Okay, so there's our power connections that we need. Let's get rid of all these bits of wire around everything. I hate these wire ties. Like I always say, I don't know how long this PC is going to be a thing, and these plastic coatings, you know, they break down and go brittle over time. Just good practice to remove all this, and if you need to tie something up, use a plastic cable tie. However, I don't recommend you go to town with the cable ties, because as soon as you have a problem, you have to cut them all out. Okay, so I can put the controller in up there. Just need one SATA connection for that. Alright, so I'm just going to do one cable tie around all of our fan cables. And they can just sort of sit like that. Oh, I missed one cable. That's alright, I'll just tuck it away up the top there. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the cable length here. Plenty of length to sort of conceal things if we have to. We'll need to run USB 3 down the bottom there. As for all of our other cables, we can conceal them pretty well. Okay, so around the front here, we need to put in our rear I/O shield, and we need to adjust a few of the offsets. So make sure you get those offsets in place for your motherboard. So in this particular case, we have a few to move around. So we've got a micro ATX board in an ATX case. So I do like to do that, because if you put a really powerful graphics card in your system and you have a micro ATX board, sometimes it's good to have the ATX case, just because it whoa. Oh, this is a hole that was drilled. Oh, damn! Right.
On a Friday.
No, not necessarily on a Friday, just frickin' right before the drill bit got changed. Damn. Alright, so I'm going to screw different bolt through there. Hopefully that's stretched it out. Yep, there we go. Well, that one's definitely not going anywhere. Okay, so I need to lie this down just quickly, just so I can put the motherboard in place. Okay. Okay, so let's start plugging some stuff in. So we've got our CPU power up the top here. We have our motherboard, a 24-pin ATX cable there. Got our USB 2 and our front panel audio. So to keep this tidy at the bottom, we can route these discreetly behind our motherboard here. Okay, so these are our front panel connectors. And so this is our power switch and our reset switch and the little lights that come on. There we go. Alright, so now all we need to do is put a few more bolts in our motherboard. And then we can actually plug our graphics card in and see if it actually works. Have I done it right? What mistakes have I made? Okay, so we're using slots 2 and 3 for our graphics card. All right. Oh, one of our plugs was in the way. There we go. Okay, and then finally we just have our graphics card power. Alright, just need one cable tie to tie down that extra connector. Yeah. Hey Nicholas, how you going? Good to have you with us. Hope your day's off to a good start. Okay. Alright, so let's see if it works. Have we swapped back cables? Yep, what's happening here? We have one fan that's not on. Okay, so looks like one of those fans is it runs, but the RGB doesn't seem to work. Well, that's a little bit annoying, but I mean that can happen, right? Okay. I hate it how this motherboard launches bloody CSM instead of just going straight to BIOS. Come on, man. It's 2023. I don't want CSM. Right, that's not the right one. I don't think that's the right one either. Here we go. So I mean, other than the fan that doesn't have the RGB lit up on it, and I've tried some different ports on the controller, it appears to be a problem with that fan in particular. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with this case. I reckon it's pretty good. Well, yeah, I think there'll be a fair few people who are pretty disappointed about the Black Friday sales. I had so many people like telling me that they're holding out to see what Black Friday brings, and yeah, some of the specials have been laughable.
Like $2 off.
Some things are just $2 off.
Big savings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, just don't pay any mind to the fan that's out. I'll replace that. If I don't have the right fan, I might swap it out. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so let's get some of this stuff installed. Oh, I don't have the stuff. Ah, okay, alright. Hopefully the internet's a bit faster tonight. Okay. So I'll restart that, and now we'll plug in some internet. Okay. Yum, yum. Alright, we'll set up MSI Afterburner here just quickly. So these are all the values we want to see in our on-screen display. So all you got to do, you got to set the toggle keys. If not, it won't actually work for you. And you want to turn on this show own statistics button, so it shows you the frames per second as well. No. Like a shark.
It's a glutton Pokemon. Supposedly it's really shit at catching, so it uses other Pokemon to help catch prey. It's a catfish.
It's a catfish.
A giant catfish, yeah. 220 kilo prey. Also, it gets to about 12 meters. That's a big catfish. It's a false dragon type.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that means. I think they need to tell it. Its ability, unaware or oblivious. Its hidden ability is water body. That's the shiny version.
Ah.
is cute. That's sick. You know that Simon shows you Malcolm page?
Yeah.
He visited the Bundaberg gingerbread factory and they printed him a special label with his face on it.
Oh god.
That's pretty cool. I want a bottle of gingerbread.
Oh fuck.
It's like that cat's never been fed in his life.
Yeah.
She's smart. She says, fuck me.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so let's run Heaven here on high, no anti-aliasing. Alright, and all the stuff on the screen. Up the top here we've got our graphics card. Temperature, usage, clock speed and wattage. Our VRAM usage. We've got our CPU, temperature, usage, clock speed and wattage. Ooh.
Ew. Oh, there it goes. That was a bit weird.
I think because we're installing a Windows update, the CPU was using all its power on the update.
Because it's fine now.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird though. I've never seen it do that.
It can happen.
Obviously. I don't know where you get this spray-on installation.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do something like that. That costs too much.
Too much. You can add it in time anyway. Alrighty, so that was Heaven there on high with no anti-aliasing. Next we'll do Valley. So Valley's more demanding and we're going to run it on higher settings. Alrighty, so that was Valley there on Ultra with max anti-aliasing, and finally got our 4K benchmark superposition. So I don't recommend using this card at 4K, it's a 1080p gaming card, but for consistency's sake we'll run it on at 4K now for the last one. Alrighty. So that was superposition there at 4K. And that brings us to the end of the night now. Alrighty, so got our fairy donut here to stress out the graphics card, and we'll just use CPU Z here for the CPU. And so all we do now is we leave hardware monitor open to log our temperatures, and we just let this one run for the next 90 minutes. So yeah, happy days. I'll get Christine to make us full screen again, and now's the time. If anyone's got any final questions or comments for me before I sign off for the night, now is your chance to ask. I think that'll be pretty much it. It's always a quiet night on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's just about it, eh? Alrighty, well, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.